Is Ryan Reynolds involved in a new lawsuit? And did Blake have a massive win in court, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be breaking down both of these topics today. And if you haven't seen my two previous videos on Mountain, which is MNTN, and their connection to Ryan Reynolds, I highly recommend checking those out because I don't want to just repeat things I've done in previous videos because, well, they were done really well and they're there. So after I'm done, I'll drop the links in the comments for you guys if you want to check out those two previous videos. But I do want to look through some of the myths that are going around just so we can really get our bearings on what is happening with Mountain, Ryan Reynolds, and this new crazy ass lawsuit. We're going to have a look. Leo, I just have to say, starting my day, seeing all of your comments just makes my day, makes my week because it's only Monday. So thank you for being here, guys. Okay, so I want to look at what's going around right now. And the question I'm getting a lot is in regards to potentially a new lawsuit in regards to Ryan Reynolds and what a lot of people are calling IP, like intellectual property that apparently he stole. He stole. That's Monday, guys. That's Monday. Stole. Words are hard. It's a Monday. I was up all night because our new rescue dog was not feeling well. She had an upset belly. So we're just going to have to deal with the fact that my words are probably not going to make much sense today. But we're here. And I'm kind of in a fuck it day. So if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. Pretty much is my vibe right now. Okay. Let's pull up and let me know if you guys heard about a new lawsuit potentially against Ryan Reynolds. Actually, let's take a step back. Ryan Reynolds and Maximum Effort have been acquired by a company called Mountain, which goes by MNTN for short. When they were going public with the company, they shortened it to MNTN. That's their stock. And it was, do I have the slide up actually? I might actually have the slide. Let me see. I bet I do. Yeah, there's one of them. I just don't know if I talk about it much in terms of MNTN itself here. Okay, so MNTN acquired Maximum Effort. Can't think of the year off the top of my head, but MNTN is a connected TV advertising platform. Earlier this year, it filed for an IPO, initial public offering in the United States. Where I covered this and how it got on my radar initially was because around the time that MNTN was going public, they very quietly got rid of Maximum Effort. They had acquired Maximum Effort at one point. When they acquired Maximum Effort, they made Ryan, I think it was a chief creative officer, which, guys, is literally what he does for everything. That's part of his contract for everything, even his sports teams. That's something that he does. And it's kind of a smart business move at the end of the day. Whether you like Ryan or not, I think the majority of us here aren't big fans of Ryan Reynolds with everything he's done and who he's being exposed to be. But from a branding and marketing and business building perspective, it is very smart to be like, sure. And what do I get out of this? Well, I get this role within your industry. For example, his sports teams, he's turning them into like the F1 team he owns, Alpine F1. He's turning it into, and has the goal of turning it into a media empire similar to Wrexham. So that's basically what he did here is, okay, they're going to be acquired. Maximum Effort will be acquired by MNTN. And as part of this deal, what do I get? Well, I get chief creative officer position. MNTN got rid of Maximum Effort earlier this year. It was my theory that they got rid of MNTN got rid of Maximum Effort because of all the controversy with It Ends With Us marketing. That's my theory. When all of this controversy came out with It Ends With Us marketing, you look at it and Ryan's name was all over it. We know that here, right? All over it. The problem was he was all over MNTN's content as well. And so I believe, my personal opinion, Ryan Reynolds, that they came to this decision to divest Maximum Effort in an attempt to not tank this company going public. And it worked And I have an ad for you, or a publication to show you guys that was sent to me, because MNTN's doing very well. And they're actually making more, it looks like, since losing Maximum Effort. So that's kind of the road so far. Earlier this year, Maximum Effort was released from MNTN. However, Ryan stayed on as Chief Creative Officer. And then it came out that MNTN was being sued for what a lot of people are calling like IP issues, intellectual property. But that's not what the issue is. Let me switch over. And this is like a lot to try and cover in one live, but we're going to go with it. Where do I want to go first? Let's go here first. Intent IQ has waged a lawsuit against MNTN, not Ryan Reynolds. I will show you guys the filings. I think a lot of people are just, when this came out, a lot of people are connecting it because we know typically that Ryan was connected to MNTN at one point in time. But Intent IQ, this is who it is, has launched a lawsuit against MNTN, not Maximum Effort, MNTN. But this is what is interesting when you look at it, because I'm nosy and I'm in branding and marketing anyway. I think I forgot to introduce myself. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ashley Brianna Eve. I have over 15 years of experience in branding, marketing, and PR. And I like to bring you guys behind the headlines, which is, you know, often an objective, professional take. And many people don't like that. But for those that do, we have a really incredible community here, and feel free to hang out with us in the chat. Everyone's amazing. Okay, so this is what I looked into when I started getting all these comments on all my content and all these DMs being like, Ryan Reynolds getting sued again. I found the lawsuit, which I will show you guys. I'm not paying to get, I'm going to be honest, not paying to get the documents downloaded. It's an asinine amount of money. I have better use for that, like our farm animal sanctuary. But this is what I found. Intent IQ has patents for tech ads, or ad tech's most basic functions, and it's not afraid to use them. Intent IQ has gone after everyone. So one of the things that's landing in my comments and landing in my DMs is, Ash, is number one, the media not reporting on this because of Ryan Reynolds. And because the media likes Ryan Reynolds, they don't want to report that he's being sued again. And number two, I'm getting questions around, is Ryan on this? Because my previous video, we talked about how he's doing sports washing, allegedly, you know, just my professional opinion, not saying he is, it just looks like he is. He looks like he's doing sports washing and reputation laundering right now. And they said, is he doing that because of this lawsuit between Intent IQ and Mountain? And the answer is no. So the media is not reporting on it because it's connected by 6 degrees of separation of Ryan Reynolds. Honestly, Intent IQ has gone off after much bigger fish. And legacy media might actually be concerned if they say Ryan Reynolds is getting sued again, that they're going to get sued. Because he's not, right? So that's more likely why they're not picking it up, because it would be a misrepresentation of what's going on, and Ryan would probably sue them. So when we look at this ad exchanger, which is basically what the lawsuit from MNTN, which again used to, it acquired Maximum Effort, but then divested it earlier in 2025. But Ryan stayed on as Chief Creative Officer, whatever imaginary title he gave himself. This is the company that's going after MNTN, Intent IQ. So this ad says, is cross-device ID graph operator Intent IQ planning to sue all of ad tech? The answer is yes. They are literally going after everyone. Everyone. Wait till you see. When you pull up Intent IQ and you realize their parent company, they are going after everyone. So I feel like if the media was to pick this stuff up, they probably pick up the Amazon or the Meta ones rather than the MNTN, honestly, at the end of the day. To me, it's, if you want my honest opinion, it's such a nothing burger in terms of Ryan Reynolds. I love to get all the knowledge you give us. Thank you. That's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. It upsets some people because I try to give an unbiased approach, professional approach, but I'm so grateful for this community. So, okay, let's look at this. So this Roy, CEO of Intent IQ, I hold the patents for probabilistic cross-device targeting because I personally invented it. That's what he's targeting with MNTN. because MNTN does use cross-device targeting, and MNTN has been honest that they do it, but pretty much every ad company does it. Your sound is choppy. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know. I have had issues with the internet or with StreamYard the last couple of days. Let me see. I'm not going to know how to fix it, guys. So the only option would be me getting off the live right now and just doing a recording through Zoom because StreamYard seems to be a pain in my ass. Let me see. All right. So I don't know what's going on with StreamYard or if it's my internet. So I'm just playing it on my phone. So the options are I get off and just pre-record it and post it, or we deal. Those are literally the only options I can tell you because I'm not in tech. So I don't know how to fix it. And I think it's a StreamYard issue, if I'm being honest. So I think it's StreamYard. It's fine. All right. I'll just keep going. We'll just deal. I'll just add more shit to my to-do list today. Why not? Because, I don't stop from 5 a.m. till 11 p.m. So why not just add more to my to-do list? Oh my God. Welcome to Monday. Okay. So I'm just going to keep going. If it bugs you, you can log off. It is what it is. So Roy said I hold the patents for probabilistic cross-device targeting because I personally invented it. So he's gone after basically everyone in the industry, and it's been a lucrative business. In fact, this guy that's going after MNTN, does your StreamYard allow you to record yourself? Yes, I can do pre-recordings, but I'm also having problems with that. So it's either guys, we know that there's problems with the audio. It's either my internet or it's my StreamYard, one or the other. But I will have to call the internet company today and deal with that and see if it's on their end. Okay, I'm going to start ignoring comments because we already dealt with this. So it's a lucrative business. What they said here is that depending on the year, Intent IQ actually makes more money suing people than they do within business. So they actually make more money suing people than they do being a business. They targeted Amazon for running cross-device campaigns based on consumer profiles. And they originally went after Amazon for $348 million, but the judge awarded $122 million because the judge said there's issues with some of the things they're going after Amazon with because they're actually starting to claim abstract ideas as patent, and therefore other people can't use it. And the judge was like, yeah, no, I'm in the wrong business. You and me both. You and me both. Literally. Because they just sue people and they're making asinine amount of money. I guess the bigger question surrounding this patent infringement case is what role, if any, has Ryan Reynolds had in the connection to advertising and implementing the technology in his role at Mountain? Likely none. I can't imagine. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because he's not even being named in it. So I honestly think in regards to this lawsuit, and I'm only talking about it because at the end of the day, it's like it's starting to gain steam. All my comments are being flooded with it, but his name's not on it. And he isn't involved in the technology. I can't even imagine he's involved with the technology. Do you have any intel about his investment interest in Mountain? No, I'm not sure. He works there. Not sure. So this is Intent IQ. They are going after everyone. I'm going to show you something, or was there something else here I wanted to talk about? I think that was all I want to talk about there, but I'm going to show you guys the list of the different companies that this is who they're going after. So again, it just doesn't seem like anything special to me. So we have Intent IQ going after MNTN, and then look at this is AlmondNet. So that's the parent company to Intent IQ. Okay, so that's the parent company to Intent IQ. They're going after Yahoo. Roku is suing them, is going after them now. Meta's also going after them to try and take the patent down. Then there's AlmondNet going after Roku, Freewheel Media, Oath Holdings, Amazon, LinkedIn, Samsung, Microsoft, Facebook, Meta. Like they're going after Facebook and Meta platforms separately. Amazon again. Like they're basically suing the entirety. Microsoft they went after as well. They're going after pretty much the entirety of the tech industry. Viant Technology, Oracle Corporation, Live Intent, as you can see here, basically everyone. So Adform Inc., I don't see this as anything, to be honest. My bigger thing with Mountain and what I've talked about in the past is something that a lot of people don't know. Mountain used to be Steelhouse. So Mountain used to be Steelhouse. Well, why did Steelhouse change to Mountain? Because of this, a click fraud scheme. Now, what I said previously is, and my question previously was, did Ryan Reynolds know or care that the company he was connecting with, so Mountain, because they they acquired Maximum Effort after all this. Hi, everyone just hopping in. We know we have audio issues, and I apologize. I'm going to call the internet company today and get this dealt with and look in a StreamYard as well. So I apologize for the audio issues, but you guys said keep going, so we're going to keep going. So Steelhouse, some of Steelhouse's former clients are now supporting Criteo's allegations that it runs a click fraud scheme. What happened with this company, with MNTN, is they were involved in this massive click fraud scheme, essentially inflating their numbers to be able to get clients to sign on with them. And they were called out on it. Their competitors called them out on it because it's not fair, right? Like if you're, and probably illegal, but if you're falsely inflating your numbers, your competitors are going to get pissed. So your competitors are going to say, hey, your clients are choosing Steelhouse, which is also Mountain, MNTN, because they think they're getting these kinds of numbers in conversion, but they're not. So Steelhouse was involved in a big lawsuit. It was called the click fraud lawsuit between French public ad tech company Criteo and the US-based competitor Steelhouse. They ended up trying to sue each other. They both dropped it. But essentially, more or less, Steelhouse, now Mountain, was called out and clients were pissed because they were faking their numbers. So it says Criteo alleges that Steelhouse used a counterfeit click fraud scheme to trick e-tail clients into thinking that internet users clicked on Steelhouse placed ads when they did not, and consequently take ads for online sales attributable to Criteo, other online marketing vendors, and their e-tail clients' own direct internet traffic. And for these allegations, Criteo filed a motion for preliminary injunction with so Steelhouse is shady. Steelhouse is so shady. But what they did is just rebranded to Mountain. And then Ryan Reynolds allowed Maximum Effort to be acquired by that sketchy ass company. So for me, the big issue with all of this is, does Ryan care, or is he just doing shady ass shit, which we all know the answer to here, shady ass shit in regards to business as well. And so he's partnering with other businesses that do shady shit, because MNTN used to be Steelhouse until it got called out for doing illegal shit. Now, what's also coming out, and here's the thing, I really don't think MNTN's changed much. But again, what's the saying? When you lie with dogs, you get fleas or something like that, right? Like, for me, people and brands that are in integrity are cautious about who they brand with, are cautious about who is tied to their name. The fact that Ryan Reynolds partnered and allowed Maximum Effort to be acquired by a company that has a history of click fraud schemes tells me, are you kidding me? Nerd reports here? Oh my God, I'm going to drop over dead. And the day that my audio is screwing up. You know, I just want to crawl into a hole and die is basically what I want to do right now. I just want to crawl into a hole and die. I love Nerd Report, guys. And of course, hello, Nerd Report. Thank you for hopping in on a day where my audio and video is all messed up. I just want to die. So this is the bigger question for me with Ryan Reynolds' association with MNTN. He knows they were involved with massive click fraud schemes, and he partnered with them anyway. He allowed Maximum Effort to be acquired by them. So all it does is make me think that Ryan Reynolds is doing sketchy ass shit behind the scenes that we don't even know about. Again, allegedly my opinion only. Please don't send me another subpoena, Ryan. This is something that was sent to me the other day a bit anyway. It says, too bad actor Ryan Reynolds didn't join CTV ad platform's MNTN's first ever earnings call on Tuesday. It would have been fun hearing Deadpool answer questions from investors. Here, let me make that bigger for you guys. It's glitching out anyway. In early April, not long after MNTN's filed its S1 and shortly before its IPO in May, the company divested Maximum Effort. That's a creative agency co-founded by Reynolds that MNTN had acquired in 2021. There's a date. And it was 2016, I believe, that MNTN was involved in and exposed for the click fraud scheme before it was like, ta-da, we're not Steelhouse anymore. We are MNTN. We are just rebranding. So no one can connect us. And that's SEO manipulation as well, right? It's not just a rebrand, it's SEO manipulation when they change to a different name. Because now it's Steelhouse that is connected to the click fraud scheme. It's not MNTN. Right? So I want everyone to let's just take a second for that. That is a PR thing. Because now if you go in and you search Mountain or MNTN, you're not getting click fraud scheme. You'd have to put in Steelhouse. So it was all planned. It's always planned. So it was 2016, the click fraud scheme and MNTN being called out. I think it was a year before Ryan Reynolds came on to the company that they rebranded as MNTN. Don't quote me on that date, though. I believe it was. And then MNTN, once Steelhouse, I know, trust me, I know. We need a thread chart. We need to figure this out. We need a map behind me for this. I get it's confusing. So Steelhouse then turned into Steelhouse then turned into Mountain in 2020. 2021, they acquired Maximum Effort with Ryan Reynolds. Okay. So in early April, not long after MNTN filed its S1 and shortly before its IPO in May, the company divested Maximum Effort. That's a creative agency co-founded by Reynolds that MNTN had acquired in 2021. Reynolds remains MNTN's chief creative officer and its #1 celebrity shill. And Maximum Effort is still going strong. For now. That's the problem. When you attach your face to everything you do, if your personal brand is doing well, it works for you. If your personal brand is doing well, it works for you. But as soon as your personal brand, and the reason being, I want you to think of Maximum Effort, just to put it into context. I want you to think of Maximum Effort starting out as a no-name brand without a known face behind it. Right? So if you start a personal brand without a known face behind it, you have no celebrity connections, nothing. You have much more of an uphill battle than a brand that comes out attached to a celebrity that is in the public's good graces. And the reality is, whenever Maximum Effort started, I don't know when it started, even in 2021, Ryan wasn't involved in scandals. He had a pretty solid public persona. It's just like the everyday person. Someone said to me, well, Blake must be doing something right. She's famous. No, someone that has a celebrity family or like a famous family, connections behind them, getting their foot in the door just because of their connections and then marries Ryan Reynolds, who is top of the industry, you can't compare that to a no-name in the middle of Cowtown nowhere, starting a brand and turning it into $1 million business. You cannot compare the two. So when you're building businesses, attaching it to your personal brand, 100% can expedite success because it is attached to something the public already has good feelings for or knows. The opposite happens as well. When your personal brand goes down the tubes, like Ryan Reynolds is right now, I appreciate all the non-bots in here. We have a good community. It's so good. And I just lay down the law and start blocking everyone from the channel when they go shit crazy in the comments. So we try to keep it really cool here. When that personal brand, so Ryan Reynolds, when his personal brand started to go down the shitter in 2025, I'd say 2024 into 2025. It's certainly going much faster right now. Watch Nerd Report for all of that information. Nerd Report covered it. I've been binging everything on the Blake Lively turn of events over on Nerd Report. So when Ryan Reynolds' personal brand was going down the shitter, anything attached to his personal brand will also start to have problems because now the person itself, not necessarily the brand immediately or the business immediately, but the personal brand itself is having issues. This is also the problem Blake Lively's having, but she can't see. She wants to blame everyone else for her brands having issues, for her businesses having issues. The Blake Brown or whatever it is, the hair care, the alcohol brand, Betty Booze, Betty Buzz, all of those. She's like, it's everyone else's fault. It's Justin Baldoni's fault. No, girl, you built a personal brand. Your personal brand marketed a DV movie as if it was Barbie. So people hated you. And because people hated you and you built a personal brand, everything else is having a negative impact. You're losing money on everything. So when what we're likely going to see is more of Ryan Reynolds' businesses. If he continues to be associated with this and they continue to subpoena people, more of his businesses taking a hit. But it is saying maximum effort still going strong. So it says, anyway, the purpose of this divestiture was to help MNTN simplify its financial structure. That's what they were claiming. I don't think they wanted the drama. I don't think they were likely talking to investors behind the scenes, and investors were like, we don't want to be anywhere near this. It ends with us drama. But what they claim publicly is MNTN was simplifying its financial structure ahead of its IPO and focusing more on its core business, a strategy that appears to have worked. They wanted nothing to do with this mess. That's what MNTN didn't want. MNTN's Q2 revenue grew 25% year over year to $65.8 million without max effort and would have grown 34% with the agency still on its balance sheet. What's interesting, though, is that without the creative agency on board, MNTN's gross margin improved significantly in Q2, up 7% to 77%. In other words, MNTN is more profitable now without maximum effort. It says the market, however, wasn't overly impressed. The company's stock dipped by just over 3% in after-hours trading. Welcome to Wall Street. So there is still controversy around this. We'll see how it goes, but they are saying right now they seem to be doing better without MNTN, but you could argue it could be due to simplifying, but it could also be better because people don't want anything to do with Ryan Reynolds. My opinion only, don't send me another subpoena. But that's what's going on with MNTN. They're seeing improvement, but overall the industry itself isn't overly impressed. But the Intent IQ lawsuit really doesn't have much to do with it. So, you know, that doesn't have much to do with Ryan Reynolds' story. I'm sure it won't help the stock of MNTN being dragged into it, but it's not really anything to do with Ryan at this point in time. Is his deal with that streaming project of his still intact? With Paramount, yes. There was actually just an article about it. Let's see if I can find it quick. I got it here. And sorry, guys, I'll deal with the StreamYard / audio, whatever's going on, I promise. So if it's Paramount that you're talking about, yes, this just ran 4 days ago. Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Sheridan. I really like Taylor Sheridan stuff. And John Krasinski, among hitmakers, Paramount, sorry guys, Skydance needs to keep happy. So yes, that is still going. Although it also kind of, I'm not going to lie, it seemed, please don't put Ryan Reynolds in the same headline as Taylor Sheridan. Taylor Sheridan works. Did you guys know? Let me know. One of you guys watched Yellowstone. Number 2, did you know that Taylor Sheridan worked his ass off? And critics, if you saw his work, he created like just hundreds of shows, it seems. Like everywhere was Taylor Sheridan. He did that to make enough money to buy a ranch that he dreamed of buying. Like if that isn't the most, I don't know. Maybe I can relate to it because that's what I did. I worked my ass off to be able to afford a farm. I love that you guys are talking about Yellowstone. So good. But he worked his ass off and he created all those deals so that he could actually buy his dream farm. His dream farm is at the 4-6, I think they call it 4-6 Ranch in Texas. Worked his butt off. I think he needed like 300 million or something asinine. And I saw an interview with them where Taylor Sheridan talked about being broke again because he had literally created all of this just so that he could afford, and he worked his butt off just so he could afford this ranch. But yes, this came out where it talks about how Paramount Skydance, so it's a first look deal Ryan has with Paramount, and they need to keep Ryan happy. Where do they talk about? Ryan Reynolds, one of the few bankable stars remaining, has a first look pact with the studio, which would love him to headline a few blockbusters. I don't know what to tell you guys. But, here's the thing. It's going to be harder to take down Ryan in the long term. If you want my honest PR opinion, because that's what I do. Harder than Blake Lively for sure. It's not impossible. And if they keep going in the way they're going, they just, they're just digging their own graves. They're just digging their own graves. But yes, he currently still has all of those deals. Whether they actually move forward with him doing these projects, I don't know. Ryan might move behind the scenes after all this drama. You might not hear much about Ryan. He might do more of his investments and such. Blake needs your PR. I thought it was funny how I was joking about that, and then she subpoenaed me like days later. I made a reel about how they're taking all my advice because every time I say for them to do something, they do it. And then people are accusing me of being paid by Blake's side. And then literally 2 days later, I got subpoenaed by her. All right, let's move over to another topic. Where is my tab for this? So let's talk about... Oh my gosh, I have way too many tabs. This should be it. Is this it? No, that's not it. Damn it. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, we're going to switch topics. And I want to talk about this. So Judge Lyman struck from the docket the deposition transcript for Blake Lively. Let's read through this. It's only a couple pages. We'll read through this, and then I want to give my professional opinion on the PR side of things. You don't have to believe me, but I'm going to give my professional Ashley Tab Multiverse of Madness. Sometimes I feel like we're in the multiverse of madness lately. I genuinely feel that. I'm going to give my PR perspective on this. And then I'm also going to give like the Ashley commentary as we go, which I just think is so... I figure Wayfarer knew he was going to strike it. I'll say that right off the bat. Wayfarer's team, Brian Freeman, they're not idiots. They knew it was going to get struck. They knew. There's no way they didn't know. I refuse to believe it. However, if you've read or seen my motion to quash and my letter to Judge Lyman, I say that Blake's team continuously uses the docket as a PR vehicle. I said that over and over and over again. Blake's team uses the docket as a PR vehicle. What pisses me off is if you're going to say Wayfarer should not have done that because it's for PR, why is he not calling Blake Lively's team out? Why is he not dealing with Blake Lively's team continuously hiding behind litigation privilege? She put shit on the docket, allegedly my opinion only, so that she can say shit to legacy media. So I genuinely believe that both sides have used the docket for PR purposes. And I don't mean that as a slight against Wayfarer. I think some people get really upset with me for saying that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This is as much as a PR battle as it is a legal battle. But if you're going to come after Wayfarer and use language like this with Wayfarer, you best be doing this shit with Blake Lively. Because Blake Lively has been doing this shit the whole time. And in fact, I would argue even the very CRD complaint that she filed was PR. She was learning from Amber Heard's mistakes because Amber Heard was not protected by litigation privilege. She learned from those mistakes. She filed the CRD complaint and then ran to the media. And now she's crying about the media being involved. Girl, you invited the media to your doorstep. You held the fucking door open for the media until you didn't like who showed up. And then you started crying foul because people started bitching about your flower arrangements at the gathering you were having. And then you and your husband, Ryan, watch my video about Ryan and his PR moves right now. He is trying to separate his ass from her. There's no way that man is not very aware that being near her is going to destroy everything he's built. Because when's the last time you've seen them together? Now we're going to see them together later today after I said that. But when's the last time you've seen them together? He knows she's nuclear. He knows he can't be near her if he has to salvage anything after this. But he's sure as shit not innocent in this. So Blake Lively is continuously hid behind litigation privilege. And then this is what pisses me off. At least call a spade for both people. If you're going to call Wayfarer out on it, fine. Call Wayfarer on it. But hello? Why aren't you calling Blake out on it? And her lawyers? And the shit they've pulled. Because they do it too. In fact, I would say this whole scam of a fucking lawsuit is because Blake has done that. So Blakey Poo, you wanted the media at your doorstep. You wanted the media at your table. And now they're pissed about what you're serving them. That's on you, girl. That's on you. That's on you. So and this is what I mean, guys. When I say like Wayfarer is doing this piece of PR, I'm not like, oh, fuck Wayfarer. Oh, disgusting. They're doing PR. Everyone's doing PR. Even the smallest brands should be doing PR. You should be understanding public relations, even if you don't have a PR team. It's not inherently nefarious. It's not inherently bad. They need to be doing PR, Justin's team. In fact, if they didn't do or have a PR campaign, they would have been lost. They would have been in oblivion themselves all along. We wouldn't even be here if they didn't respond. So PR itself is not inherently bad. To me, it's when you manipulate it the way Blake and Ryan continuously do that gives PR a bad name. And then people think PR is bad. Hello, beautiful. It's so nice to see your name here. The judge doesn't look at things unless lawyers put it in front of him. Justin's team isn't putting it in front of Lyman. Good point. That is a very good point. Maybe they need to start calling it out more. That is a good point. Thank you. Because you're right. Maybe they need to start calling it out more. Agree. anyway, now that I went on a rant and it's probably choppy and, if you're just hopping on, something is going on with I don't know if it's StreamYard or the internet, but I'm going to look at it, guys. But you guys were like, keep going. So we're just going to roll with it. We're just going to keep going. Okay. So now that I've got my blood pressure up and my heart rate's at 94, 11/11, make a wish for anyone that's spiritual. 11/11 on Monday the 11th. Woof. There's some numerology for you. Oh, I sound fine now. Okay, all I had to do was rant. All I had to do was lose it, and it snapped whatever had to be snapped back. My heart rate's in the 90s. My resting heart rate is 67. That's what Blake and Judge Lyman do to me. All right. On August 1st, 2025, counsel for the Wayfarer parties in Linear, Freeman, Talman, Cooley, LLP filed a letter with the court. The letter, see docket 538, and essentially they were responding to arguments made by Blake Lively regarding Freeman's pending motion to quash a subpoena. The letter broadly asserts that there's no evidence the Wayfarer parties, Brian Freeman or his firm, have participated in a smear campaign against Lively. Docket number 538 is docket number 538. For support, the letter quotes one fragment of one sentence from Lively's deposition. In the deposition, Lively testifies that she believes that the Wayfarer parties have retaliated against her for reporting harassment by engaging in an ongoing smear campaign, but she appropriately refuses to reveal, in brackets, refuses to reveal information disclosed to her in confidence by her counsel. And so that's what I think he's trying to, taking a step back. So I was watching Not Actually Golden, and when she said, this is my personal knowledge, it's what Blake knew without her counsel telling her anything, without discovery. So I think this is what the judge is saying here. Like, in the deposition, Lively testified that she believes that the Wayfarer party have retaliated against her for reporting harassment by engaging in an ongoing smear campaign, but she appropriately refused to reveal information disclosed to her by her counsel. The letter also includes, as an attachment, the entire uncertified 292-page transcript of Lively's deposition. Lively now moves under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12F and the court's inherent power to strike the attachment on the grounds that there's no conceivable legal purpose to file the whole transcript. Docket number 540. Lively argues that the Wayfarer parties have included the entire transcript solely for strategic media and PR purposes. Specifically, given the court's individual practices regarding sealed materials, the Wayfarer party's decision has put Lively in the position of defending the continued sealing of the transcript. Lively contends the Wayfarer parties have done so in order to advance a false narrative that Miss Lively is afraid of her deposition testimony becoming public, which is entirely untrue. The court agrees that this inclusion of the entire deposition transcript served no proper purpose and accordingly grants the motion to strike. So my commentary, I'm not a lawyer. I'm in branding, marketing, and PR, guys. So I'm not a lawyer. From what I've gathered from seeing other lawyers speak on this, they've said that it was kind of normal to strike it. They weren't surprised, that they believe Wayfarer wasn't surprised either. And even just from watching this case, there's no way Wayfarer wasn't expecting that. He always rules in Blake's favor. Let's be honest. There was no way they weren't expecting that. It just, now I'm going to go on another rant. Woosah, Ashley, woosah. Courts have inherent power to manage their own affairs as to achieve the orderly and expeditious deposition of cases. This includes the power to strike materials outside the pleadings that are abusive or otherwise improper. Now, here's the thing. I feel like the judge could have just been like, granted, and maybe given a couple of reasons, not turn this into like a lashing against, again, here I go, my heart rate's about to go up, Justin Baldoni's lawyers and Wayfarer, when Blake has done the exact same thing every single fucking time. Every single time. The federal court docket might as well be renamed Blake Lively PR Firm. And she can launch a new offer. Learn how to use the federal government docket as your own law firm so you can't be held liable for anything that you say about anyone online. And do it with your Blake Brown hair care and your Betty Boos. She might as well. Girl, the branding's there already. Just do it. Just sell the course. $199. easy sell, teach people how to use the federal docket as their own court or their own PR campaign, their own PR machine. Damn it, I'm going to get another subpoena. Blake, I'm just my opinion only, girl, my opinion only. But that's what it feels like. This is what it feels like, and it's infuriating. Absolutely infuriating around this. So if you're going to call it abusive or improper to use the court docket for PR, girl, where's Blake's letter saying the same thing? I spelled it out for him in my letter. He probably never even read it. The Second Circuit has explained that court's supervisory function over its docket is not only within a district's court's power, but also among its responsibilities. Courts must therefore protect the judicial process from being co-opted and ensure that their dockets are not used to gratify private spite or promote public scandal. The deep breathing's working, though. My heart rate's staying under 85. Hello, it's so nice to see you. The only one who has any right to this mess is poor Will Beasley. Yeah. Yup. Hello, Cassidy. It's so nice to see you. The way you write so confidently about what he believes Wayfarer's motives were and never says a word to her is infuriating. Yep. Hello, it's so nice to see you. I love what you're saying, Ashley. Thank you. Oh, man. Ugh. Even if Wayfarer, and I'm going to give you guys my PR take on this, even if Wayfarer is using it for PR. So say they knew it would get struck, but they knew they'd get a talking to, being treated like their children, but they took the risk to get people talking, right? Because, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but it did get people talking. What does she have to hide? So say they took that calculated risk. Again, why do you have to talk to people like this? Like they're 5-year-olds. It's disgusting. It's disgusting language. You want to talk about language on the court docket? You want to come for Perez and pick on Perez about his, like, this is, you're a federal judge, man. And then second, where's Blakey Poo? Where's Blakey Poo? I think Freeman is playing the long game. He's not complaining about Lively's side. He's letting her dig her own grave. I do get that sense as well. Yeah. Because my concern always has been every time they say anything about Blake, she runs to the media with Darvo Me Too, abusers playbook. And they probably have weighed that behind the scenes and said, you know, it's not worth it. It's not worth getting those headlines. All right. The Wayfarer Party's attachment of the entire nearly 300-page deposition, after citing only 2 pages of it in the letter, served no proper litigation purpose and instead appears to have been intended to burden Lively and as a result the court and to invite public speculation and scandal. Even if the cited deposition portions were relevant or provide support of the Wayfarer Party's arguments, both of which are far from clear, the Wayfarer parties have not even attempted to argue that the entire deposition was relevant, nor could they. The conclusion is inescapable that the Wayfarer parties filed gratuitous amounts of irrelevant pages so that if Lively moved for continued sealing of their relevant pages, the Wayfarer parties could then use Lively's response for their own public relations purposes. Why is she not being called out? Is Bruce here too? Am I missing Bruce? Bruce is here. Hi, Bruce from Oregon. I'm suing all of you if my coffee runs out. You and me both. I'm getting pretty close to it being out. So, you know, I talk a lot though, so it might run out. So I have to be careful how often I go live because I end up like bleeding my entire day. You know, this is just... So the court has not only the power, but also the responsibility to step in. The Wayfarer parties offer several responses, none persuasive. Firstly, like, I just feel like, is that okay? I'm not a lawyer. Can someone that's a lawyer tell me, is this appropriate for a federal judge to talk to people like this? Because if anyone wants to come for Perez, who's not a lawyer, and Perez is just being Perez, you want to come for Perez? How will we come for a federal lawyer talking like this? Like, leave Perez alone, man. Let's start talking about the federal judge talking like this to someone directly involved in the case, to the Wayfarer parties. Jesus. They do not dispute, however, that the court has the inherent authority to strike documents other than pleadings when filed for improper use. Indeed, the court has already done so in this very case. The court need not resolve whether Ryle 12F applies to the exhibitions at issues because the court's inherent power to strike improper materials clearly empowers it to strike these materials. Next, they contend that Lively has not asserted that the deposition transcript contains abusive, improper, or libelous materials. Docket number 576. But that's not the test. The test is whether the Wayfarer party's filing itself was abusive or improper. How about the subpoenas to content creators? Was that abusive or improper, Judge? Was that abusive or improper? Because it feels like it. Feels like it. And given that there could have been no proper reason for the Wayfarer parties to have filed an entire transcript, only a few lines were even arguably relevant, Lively has demonstrated that the Wayfarer parties have abused this court's docket. Finally, the Wayfarer parties explained that it is routine for the court to consider deposition testimony in connection with discovery disputes. It is not routine, however, for parties to attach an entire confidential deposition transcript when citing only limited portions of that transcript involving only a few lines of text in order to put the other side of the court to the burden, and the court to the burden of justifying continued sealings. Lively's motion to strike the attachment at docket number 538 is granted, as there is no cause to seal the limited portion of the transcript cited by Wayfarer. Okay, so here's my thought on this. Let's see if I can pull up. Okay, I'm going to pull up some of the headlines. So y'all know, so this is under Justin Baldoni's name. My particular interest with reputation management and with my clients in reputation management, branding, marketing, and PR is SEO, especially on Google. No one's doing SEO manipulation for like DuckDuckGo. It just doesn't happen because no one's there. Google has 90% of the market. So if you're doing SEO manipulation, you're focusing on how to manipulate the Google algorithm, which doesn't include social media. But it's a particular interest of mine because whether you have like a startup online coaching business or you're a personal brand like Blake or Ryan or Justin Baldoni, it does matter what's showing up on Google. It 100% matters what's showing up on Google. So this is what's under Justin's name today. We're actually seeing more of a hit on Justin's side around this. So, and I'll show you why when we look at Blake's. So Blake Lively gets deposition cut from the court docket as Judge thwacks Baldoni from deadline. Justin Baldoni blasted by judge as Blake Lively secures major win. Like, this is all allegedly my opinion only. My opinion only, Blake. This is all her team. This is what blows my mind from the judge. I can't figure it out. I mean, obviously, we know he's biased. But she filed that. Instead of just filing to have it sealed, she wanted it struck so that she gets these headlines. And the judge, either knowingly or not, gave her the ammo for these headlines because of words like thwack, blasted. So the judge, like, literally gave her like I don't even know baseball. Shit, I was going to go for a baseball analogy. It's not going to work. Like a kitty little underhand baseball throw, like tossing the ball lightly to her so she could hit it out of the fucking ballpark. Because it's not only the deposition cut from the court docket, but he was thwacked and he was blasted. Blake's team was waiting to be able to run with this PR. They were ready. They had it teed up. There it is. Teed up. There's the word I was looking for. They had it all ready to go. They just needed their best buddy, the judge, to give them what they needed, which was that like abusive. Don't talk to me like I'm 5. That abusive letter he put on the court docket, treating Justin Baldoni's team like they were 5. It's gross. But that's what they needed. And it set them up for these headlines. So who's using the court docket for PR? Blakey Poo? Looking at you. Because it sure as shit looks like you, girl. And no, I don't need insider information, Blake, for that. My eyeballs and understanding how this shit works from being in the industry tells me. Where's Ryan? Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. I want to say, where is Ryan Reynolds? Where is Adam Waldman's when we need him? Yeah, the king of leaking important info. Yeah. Judge Penny. So sick of this judge. Even, I'm thinking about another judge. Did anyone follow the Koberger case? So, which is just horrific. But, and I hate to use this as an example, but the first judge that they had really kind of like, he seemed very laid back. He was kind of playing into the games a bit. Not like, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but he was like, oh, interesting point. Do you want to elaborate on that? And he kind of like gave a lot of rope for each team. Well, yeah, I guess they're teams. The Crown or prosecution, whatever it's called in the US, and then the defense. But the defense fought to get the lawsuit moved to a different judge in a different jurisdiction. And they went into that court and the judge was like, this is the law. This is my line. And I have no tolerance for bullshit from either side of y'all. And things moved so quick in that court because he held both sides to the same standard and no one was allowed to play games. No one was allowed to waste his time. That's what we need in this case. But this, Blake, you want to talk about someone playing PR games? So that's Blake's. That's Justin. So this is showing up under Justin Baldoni in Google. And something I say, let's flip over to Blake's now, because I don't know who brought poor Taylor Swift back into it. Poor T. Okay. One of the most important, yes, please like the stream, subscribe. I promise I'll get my internet sorted out. I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in Cowtown for context. And most internet providers can't give us great internet because we have like a forest of like ancient trees around the house. So even on a good day, it's challenging. And I don't know if all the wildfire smoke is causing issues too. Might be. But man, all of Ontario is pretty much in flames right now. Okay. So the prime real estate for SEO and for your brand is you want to control more than anything what's above the fold on the front page that you land on. So under all. So this is under Blake. Deadline still in the lead from 20 hours ago. Blake Lively gets deposition cut from the court docket as Judge thwacks Baldoni. But like, look, these are killing me. This is starting to make steam. Who leaked this? Who leaked this? Blake Lively alarmed over Taylor Swift's bold move amid ongoing Justin Baldoni legal battle. Rhyme with betrayal. Blake Lively fears friendship fallout with Taylor Swift. It's killing me. Where did these headlines come from and who leaked it? Because it's starting to gain traction online. Is this now apparently Taylor Swift is writing? I don't know who said this. But apparently there's this rumor that Taylor Swift's writing a new album and Blake's she's in fear over if her name's going to be attached to it or if Taylor's going to come for her. But that's starting to make traction over the last 12 hours or so. But if you go under news, under Blake as well, Blake Lively deposition sealed as Judge blasts Justin Baldoni's lawyers for seeking scandal. Blake Lively, major win. Blakey Poo's favorite platform, People. It's where she runs immediately. Justin Baldoni's lawyers respond to Blake Lively, accusing them of leaking details about her deposition, which is weird that they don't seem to be running with this yet. That's kind of weird. This freaking New York Times article you can't get rid of. It's always in the top on the front page lately. But yeah, so the other thing I want to say about this is, sure, you're getting a couple headlines, but I'll be honest, I would have expected more trending headlines with this. And I don't quite have an answer yet on why more publications aren't following suit. I don't have an answer yet. I want to watch and see what happens before I give my insights on that. But it is weird to me that there's not more running with this. I don't know. Like, the trending story for US Weekly is Blake Lively drops investigation of 3 YouTubers. That's all page 1. I had one follower on YouTube, but Blake Lively subpoenaed me. Where Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal battle stands 1 year after it ends with us release. Blake Lively takes legal action against Perez in new filing. Blake Lively concerned over Taylor Swift musical revenge. It's just killing me. It's just killing me. I mean, I can't wait for Taylor Swift. And I hope it's like a Reputation coded type. Like, obviously, that's kind of my Reputation to me was very like Paramore coded. And I love that genre of music. I love Paramore. So I could really go for that kind of album again with this. But News Nation is trending about this. News Nation is trending on, well, not trending. It's on page 2. Page 2 is kind of like the graveyard. No one looks after page 2 anyway, so it doesn't really matter what's going on. But I don't know. I need to sit with this and think about it, because I noticed this just before I came on live. And it's weird to me. Now, you could maybe argue it's Monday. They didn't really want to run with it going into the weekend. We only have 300 likes, and we've had consistently over 600 people on, guys. We can do more than that. Hit like. It helps the channel. I don't know. I want to see what happens today because it's Monday. But it is interesting to me that more publications that typically have Blake's Lively back immediately, especially People, aren't running with this. It's weird. It is weird. As someone in the field, I would have expected, especially with what we've seen traditionally, I would have expected at least People in this deadline spot in the top. So it usually is running with exclusives from Blake Lively's team. The fact that we have, no shade against Deadline, but we have Deadline, The Independent, Newsweek. It's weird to me. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's weird? I want to hear from you guys in the comments, in the chat. Let me know if you think it's weird. If you thought there was Deadline is Blake. Well, yes, exactly. The remaining 400 are bots to monitor. I love you guys. You guys are hilarious. I don't know. It is weird to me, though, that more aren't immediately behind her. And what I'm thinking in my head is this a changing of the tides? Maybe. Taylor doesn't mess around. No, she certainly does not. I didn't even know who Blake was before this started. I didn't know Ryan. Yeah. However, I'll never watch one of his things again. Yep. I don't think anything is weird anymore. Also legit. Where my brain's going, but again, I want to see what's going on today because, and hello, Haley. It's so nice to see you. Again, typically Friday, you're not going to get much. Usually and traditionally, Friday's been known as like a news dump day. So it tends to be more things that are going under the radar, right? You're not going to get much traction in the summer because people are going to the cottage, they're relaxing, it's the weekend. Now that has shifted a bit now with social media where it's kind of a 24-hour news cycle. But I could see the argument, which is why I'm hesitant to say what I'm really thinking. But I could see the argument that potentially a lot of these platforms were waiting for Monday to run with it in the hopes they get more clicks because clicks equal money. So I could see the argument for that, and that might be what's happening. But the other part of me is going, is there a change in the tides in legacy media? Because this is unlike what we've seen previously in legacy media. They tend to run to Blake's defense immediately. And People tends to be the immediate place where you see exclusives from Blake within minutes of news dropping on the docket. I don't think those rules apply with smartphones and social media now. They do to an extent. They do to an extent. It depends on your industry too, how you want to go about it. But traditionally, especially in the summers like what we have to remember, guys, is the summer as well. You're kind of running with like skeleton teams in terms of, traditional media. September tends to be the big focus where you're going to see like big scandals come out, which is also why it's so tough when you have a scandal hit in the summer, because there's not really much else happening. People are just paying attention to your scandal and you get stuck, right? However, in the summer, yes. If I was writing for people, would I want to drop something on a Friday? Probably not, to be honest. Probably not if I can wait till Monday and it gets more traction. Because what you also have to keep in mind is the algorithm is going to prioritize new. So say people drops it like 7 o'clock on a Friday and everyone's heading out to the beach and to the cottage and enjoying their weekend and they don't see it. Well, by the time Saturday and Sunday, other stuff starts trending online, it gets pushed down. And what we have to remember is it's all about money. Like People Magazine, you very rarely on legacy media see something land on the weekend. Not never, but rarely see something land on the weekend unless it was already prearranged. And the example I can think of off the top of my head is Kim Kardashian had that Deadpool and Wolverine themed birthday party. I think it was with Page Six, got the exclusive, meaning they were in talks with Kim to drop it because they even had some pictures that weren't available publicly. And it dropped at like Sunday at like 8 p.m. Eastern or something ridiculous, right? They likely had in advance the knowledge that she was going to be dropping it on her Instagram account at, say, I think it was 4 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So anytime after 4, like give it some time to traction on her Instagram. And anytime after that, they could run with the article online. So believe it or not, like it's still true. So we might see some stuff come out today. But overall, I would have expected a lot more support for Blake from legacy media. And it's just not there. Let me just go back to the super chats. Taylor Swift makes a song about Blake Lively. She'll be crowing like a rooster. I love it. So good. A Women for Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, South Park episode similar to Markle and Harry Potter. Oh my God. Prince Harry. Yes. I am waiting. It's weird that they haven't yet. I have no doubt we'll see something like that. I have no doubt. I am here for it. I haven't watched South Park since probably high school, but I would watch that episode. But yes, so anyway, it is typical for legacy media to not drop things on the weekend. Your Friday is going to be it tends to be news that's dropping in PR that people want to go under the radar. But I'm not seeing anything much here. Let's see what's going on with Ryan. We'll flip over to Ryan Reynolds. Oh, and then I will try not to forget to go back to what I think in regards to the PR of it all. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, I mean, Wrexham, watch my episode on sports washing and reputation laundering. I talk about it over there. Look at his, invested in the Order of Canada. Watch his Unseen Ryan Reynolds body swap comedy from 14 years ago. Blake Lively, a month ago, beams with pride as Ryan Reynolds is giving Canadian honor. Paramount needs to keep him happy. You're running out of time to watch Samuel L. Jackson's buddy cop action movie on Netflix with the H2 headline having Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. I am more convinced than ever, and I will die on this hill, that someone in Blake's own camp is trying to sabotage her. Because what this shows me is it's not lack of competence in the Lively Reynolds camp for good PR. Just no one's doing it for Blake. Blake gets a donut shop sighting. That's what Blake gets. And half the time, they're just leaving her out there floundering. Like, she's floundering right now. You ask me about Blake Lively life, I think her Google results are great right now. I mean, they're okay. She got a bit of a win with a couple, like Deadline, picking up her story about the judge. But it is kind of weird that everyone else isn't touching it yet. Again, they might run with it today. But it's kind of weird that no one else is. But this is Ryan's. I wonder how far we have to go before we see anything in regards to It Ends With Us. Another one, Ryan Reynolds, underrated, 45% Rotten Tomatoes, rom-com streaming. Ryan Reynolds' beer lands on liquor shelves in BC. He has a beer. I didn't know about that. 8 years, like, it's all positive. Ryan Reynolds appeals to Ontario Council to rename arena after inspirational girl. I talk about this in my episode or my video about sports washing. And I use this as an example. Sports washing in PR, which is a form of SEO manipulation, this is something you'll see. This happened in Canada. So he advocated, I think she had passed away like 10 years ago or something. In 2014, the Deadpool star met 9-year-old Grace Bowen in Toronto when he was being inducted into the Canada's Walk of Fame. Bowen was backstage at the event with Canadian hockey legend Hayley Wickenheiser. Bowen had suffered from osteosarcoma, the same cancer which Terry Fox had, and the little girl would die from the disease months later. So this came out. So it was 2014 this all happened. And just in April 10th, 2025, Ryan Reynolds found himself advocating for an arena to be named after her. Who's using things for PR, Blake? But that is an example of, not saying you did it for that reason, Ryan, but an example of sports washing is typically you would get your name on the arena, right? Of like a beloved local arena. So you get your name on it. No, he took it a step further and he got a young girl who passed away from cancer's name on it, which you attach your name to children, especially sick children, and that is always going to be good PR. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate you guys. Let's see if page 3 we can get anything in regards to Ryan Reynolds versus Tom Brady. A story about impossible to make Canada the 51st state. Like, there is nothing. I still think that it was all PR for him. Ryan Reynolds taking on the Gwyneth Paltrow astronomer ad. 3 days ago, she's a genius and we're obsessed. Ryan Reynolds' past praise for Taylor Swift surfaces online. But look at that. That's from 3 days ago and it's on page, like, what, 4? I don't know. Anyway, whoever's doing Ryan's PR is definitely better than Blake's. Because, I mean, you struggle to find anything in regards to him and It Ends With Us. How Ryan Reynolds rewrote the script for celebrity entrepreneurs. I tell you guys. So, I don't know. That's what I have for you guys today is we were just going to look at that. Actually, don't forget. Okay. So, my thoughts on the Wayfarer parties putting the whole deposition up. Okay. I do think it was a PR move. And I don't mean that as negative. I don't mean that as me taking a hit at them. People tend to get very upset with me when I talk about PR moves that Wayfarer may have made. However, while I do think it was a PR move to get that out there and or as an extension of, okay, let's back up. Why would it be a PR move? It got people talking because either Blake had to try and strike it or she had to keep it sealed. And it's my opinion that a part of speak freely, girl. Thank you, Leo. I love you. It's my opinion that it was a PR move to show like they have nothing to hide. That has been the Wayfarer side from day one. We have nothing to hide. We are transparent. We are putting everything we have out there. We have nothing to hide, has been their entire PR take and PR approach. We got nothing to hide. So that's why for me, it fits kind of that narrative. Like, we wouldn't be hiding it. So what does she have to hide? Why is she embarrassed by this? And so we did see the online discourse. And when I look at PR moves, you tend to see a lean. And we even see that lean on the platforms that Brian Freeman speaks to, TMZ, Megyn Kelly, etc., versus Blake Lively's team. Brian Freeman spoke to Megyn Kelly. Blake Lively's team went to like CNN. Right? Her team tends to lean towards how can this work with legacy media? His team tends to lean towards how can this work with social media? And social media, since that deposition went up, has been going wild with what does she have to hide? Why would you want it sealed? What are you so embarrassed about? Just put it out there, girl. So I do believe that it was intended in some part for that. I genuinely believe if they also wanted it to be up there. I don't think it was 100% a PR move, but it also, I believe, was a PR and legal move. And we've talked about that in the past of each team has two horses in the race. One is the PR horse, one is the legal horse, and you need both of them in this type of case. And so I do think it served both purposes. But I don't mean that as a slight. Again, Blake Lively does it every single fucking day. The only problem is the judge doesn't call her out on it. The only problem is it seems to be okay for Blake, but no one else can do it. Blake does it every single time. So I don't see a problem with Justin having done that and his team. If they made that calculated decision and behind the scenes they went, you know what? Based on everything, he's going to strike it. He's not going to leave it up there. He never rules in our favor. He might give us, a lashing, but we'll take that hit to get the conversation going. That might have been the conversation with them behind the scenes. And I think Blake's side, in terms of PR and legal side, is they predicted that Justin's team would do it, to be honest. And so they were predicting Justin's team would do it. They were predicting that the judge would strike it. And all they needed was the judge to use that inflammatory language to get the headlines they wanted. Which, again, then makes me question what I don't want another subpoena. But, I'll just leave it out there. What does that make you question? If they knew, if Blake Lively's side knew that the judge was going to go and have a temper tantrum on Wayfarer. So, I don't see the limited times that Wayfarer has maybe made moves that serve both a PR and a legal purpose. I don't see that as a problem. They need to. Because Blake keeps doing it. And good on them. Good on them for doing it. Because it got conversation going. And I just feel like Blake got shook at that deposition. I don't think it went how she wanted it to go. I think she got shook. And she might be a little bit nervous. I don't know. Thank you so much for the support. Times of London has just picked up the YouTube subpoena of the one follower, the mainstream media. Interesting. That's so good. Times of London. I love it. That's what we need. More mainstream media picking it up. Because while it's amazing that social media is, there are still, Google has such a stronghold on the industry that it is still important at this point in time. Yeah, I bet the deposition went badly. I think it went horrendous. But anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. Apparently it takes me an hour and 20 minutes to do that. Because I don't shut up and I talk too much. So how do I want to wrap this up? Number one, Ryan is not being sued and Mountain is not his company. Mountain is being sued by Intent IQ, who is suing everyone. You get a lawsuit and you get a lawsuit and you get a lawsuit. They're like the Blake Lively of tech and ad. Blake Lively is out here with subpoenas, gallivanting around, sending them to everyone, setting fires everywhere. And Intent IQ's over here sending lawsuits to everyone in the ad and tech industry. I don't know. I don't know patent law, but it's just, how do you patent everything that's the foundational aspects of the industry? Did you really create it? I don't know. Meta's going to try and figure that out. But that is what's going on with Intent IQ and Mountain. At this point, it doesn't have anything to do with Ryan Reynolds, and I can't find Ryan Reynolds' name attached to it anywhere. He is simply Chief Creative Officer at MNTN, and I highly doubt Ryan understands how to run and set up tech for ads. I just don't see it. It appears his role is more of like the creative, probably coming up with ads themselves, right? Like that's more of what his role appears to be, which is what his role is pretty much in every business deal he makes these days. It's like a package deal, Ryan with maximum effort. So that's that side. I do have 2 videos on MNTN and Ryan Reynolds. You can check those out. And then in terms of the Blake Lively of it all with the deposition being struck, she was hoping for this PR. She was hoping for this PR. Plain and simple. That's all it is. She was hoping for this PR. Because she's the one using it as her personal PR docket. And good on Wayfarer for hitting back sometimes. And I do believe that Wayfarer also wanted it on there. So I don't think it was just a PR move. I think they genuinely wanted it on there. Doesn't mean it goes away, right? Like if this goes to trial, which I hope it does so that we can get Justin cleared of all of this. If it goes to trial, you're going to see, it's like with Amber Heard, all those, you even saw clips with Amber Heard and her garden variety word salad in her own. So you're going to see the garden variety word salad, my friends, if this continues. Oh, I love Ashley Stewart with the animals definitely will buy. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I can grab the link for you guys if you wanted to check it out. This is one of the mugs. I have mugs. I'm a big mug girl. I'll grab the link for you guys because I'm basically running on caffeine and a dream most days is basically my life. All right, so the merch is there if you guys want to check it out. Oh, actually, speaking of that, let me check if it's actually there. I got an exciting email that I saw just before I came live. Okay, I'm a fucking delight is in honor of my German Shepherd. It's a funny story. But we have not a bot. Congrats on your little PR crisis. We have mugs, but and garden variety distress stickers. It's still in. Let me see if I can see it. I think it's still a draft. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Let me make it public and let me refresh. So I had so many people in the comments saying, can you have like a dog bowl? So whoever, like, caffeine in a dream. Let me refresh and see if it shows up. Because this is for y'all. I've been asked about this. The dog pulls up. I eat subpoenas for breakfast. And, we have a blue bone. We have a pink bone. But okay, I have to go order my own now. But there you go. For everyone that wanted and this is from the community. You guys came up with this. I eat subpoenas for breakfast. So I had to submit for it. The dog bowl's finally here. It's so cute, right? But this is y'all. You guys told me you wanted it. That turned out so cute. I didn't know if it was going to be approved. So with something like that, it has to be custom. So you have to message them with your idea and the graphics, and they either approve it or not. And I just got the message this morning that it was approved. So there you go, guys. I'm going to order 3 for my 3 dogs. It's cute. Aw, and that's in honor of Julia, my German Shepherd. I have 3 dogs, but Jules is the OG out of the 3 of them. All right, my friends. How are you guys feeling with everything? Like the stream, please. I need some Pepto after eating some peanuts. You and me both. I need meditation after. Talking about Blake Lively screws up my heart rate metrics in my Fitbit. What's going on with Perez? I took 2 days off the crazy. So Perez has lots of videos on it, and he's talked a lot about it on his channel. He's been submitting his letters to the judge. But yes, he has tons of videos on it. I think I saw someone say thank you for defending Perez. Yeah, I like Perez. I have no problems with him. And if we want to talk about someone being totally inappropriate on the docket, why don't we talk about Judge Lyman, federal judge? Lively subpoena word salad. Yeah, I love that. Not to be the person that interrupts others' conversations. I just saw caffeine in a dream. That is what I'm hanging on to. I need a mug to say that. I can make that. I can make that today. I'll make that today for you guys. The mugs are a lot easier. I can get them up and ready and posted really fast. I could do that one today. Yes, he wrote another letter and he read it on his channel as well. I think the other day. Good. As he should call the judge bias. Good for him. I think he should. Here's the one thing I will say about this is people say all the time they want people to be authentic, right? They say all the time they want people to be who they are. Authenticity is a word I talked about on my Instagram, on an Instagram live today from a branding perspective. People always want authenticity until authenticity goes, it isn't the perfect way they view it or within the lens of how they think someone should act or be. Perez is Perez. I just, if we want authenticity, we should celebrate authenticity. At the end of the day, I just don't see the reason to tear people down unnecessarily. He is who he is. And I think it's fantastic that he's so boldly been who he is. And he said a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't say or feel like they couldn't say. So, I have nothing but love for Perez. Perez has so much support. Blake is flooding everyone to anyone but her and Ryan. Yeah. Yeah, you know what you get with Perez. Exactly. Exactly. And I prefer to just know where I am with someone and know what you get with someone. And he's, if for anyone that screams, be authentic and be who you are, to me, he's the perfect example of that. And one of the things I really admire with Perez as well, if we're on the topic of Perez, is I genuinely believe that we shouldn't knock people for growing. That's my personal belief. We all make mistakes. We all shit the bed in our life. We all look back on things in our past and cringe and wish we could rewrite history, but we can't. And if we can't celebrate people that make an effort to change and do better, what's the point in changing and doing better for any of us? If we're always going to be defined by our past in the eyes of everyone, why change? Why try to be a better person? I think we should actually celebrate people that own their flaws, own the mistakes they've made, and make an honest, genuine effort to do better. And so someone like that is always going to be someone I support. And yes, I am old enough to have been around when Perez first started. And I know he gets knocked a lot for the Britney stuff still. I lived all of that. I saw all of that. I didn't agree with it back then. But who am I to hold someone to their past when I would hope people would do me the common decency if they knew me from my past to be like, wow, you grew. You're no longer that person anymore. Because I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. Just when you do it publicly, a lot more people see your mistakes. So for me, I'm always going to be the person that supports someone that owns their mistakes, owns their mishaps, and says, hey, I actually not even proud of what I did, and I'm trying to do better. And I think that's the whole brand of Man Enough and Justin Baldoni as well. If you ask me, Justin's whole brand was built on these were my mistakes in the past, and I'm attempting to do better. And Blake Lively is attempting to hold him to mistakes of his past. All she does is quote shit from his past and try to twist it and warp it into her sick narrative. That's all Blake has done with Justin Baldoni is twist and manipulate his past. And I just don't think that's okay. We need to give people the grace when they grow and change. And so that's my opinions on the whole thing. I'm not getting involved in drama or hate towards another. I'm speaking solely, and this isn't in, a response to what someone else has said. This is not what this is. These are just my genuine thoughts on supporting people that say, I fucked up and I want to do better. Because haven't we all messed up? I think we have. I still mess up every day. We all do. All right. What do you guys do in the chat? If we want people to grow and change, we have to give them the chance to have a fresh start. Agreed. Beautifully said. And if at the end of the day, for example, if Blake Lively comes out tomorrow and she goes, I'm growing and I'm changing and I'm going on a year-long spiritual retreat and I want to do better. Okay, fine. Show it, prove it. And within that grace, we also give people the opportunity to prove that they haven't actually changed. So, that is what it is. Down with Gordon. Are we all talking about Gordon Reynolds now? Make a t-shirt that says I fucked up and want to do better. I love that. Yes, this Kate brought us together for peace and love and learning. Yeah, absolutely. That's what Justin's all about, right? All his his whole core philosophy in life is love and giving people grace and wanting to do better. Man enough. Like, how do you do better as a man? So the question is, how do we do better as people? Well, you do the best you can in every moment. And then you learn from it and you grow and you do better next time if it calls for that. All right, my friends. I could buy that shirt. All right, I need to make notes, or else give me a second while I make notes, because then I'll definitely forget before I leave. Or before I leave, as soon as I leave. Okay. Dream mug. See, I do hear you guys. All right, fab. I got those ideas written down. I can get that made after I do client work today. You guys are hilarious in the chat. Okay, my friends, that's all I have for you. An hour and a half later, holy shit, after an hour live on Instagram, I am all lived out today. I am going to do some client work, get a workout in, hang out with the animals on the farm. We have a farm animal sanctuary, and I will, don't be a Blake. I have wanted to do something like that, but I'm afraid to get sued. With that, my friends, I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate your support, and I will